we of course are gonna talk about our decline.
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation to have
This
because
is
I
more
want it to be so much cooler than it is.
yeah, you can see the idea. So
Mhm,
what we decided to do with this one, rather than just talk about the two movies, obviously we decided to go right back to the start.
mhm,
The first iteration of art, how it appeared, and basically David Leone's direction, because he's only, what's he
mhm,
done? 6 movies now, and 4 of them are all art related.
mhm,
He's only done like one other one really that's outside the box. So this has kind of been his universe he's been
mhm.
building.
Well, and then that's the great thing is to say he built it. It's like literally he fucking built it. Every single one of these movies, like he did outside of the art or outside of the Hollywood system. I mean, like for instance, fucking last one, Terrifier 2, he just did for over the past 4 years, just because he's like, well, can't do anything else, so fuck it, I'm gonna do this. Writing, directing,
Special
sometimes
effects.
shooting, did all the special effects. Like this motherfucker he's a badass for that reason
He's
alone.
primarily a special effects artist.
Uh-huh.
And then he's had this idea brewing, and we can see it develop
Mhm.
in his catalog. He reminds me of fuck, I should have got his name, the guy that did Hellraiser special effects,
Um, wow. How am I forgetting that?
and he's basically
Let's
been with the franchise the entire time. Because I watched some interesting documentaries how that fell off the rails and him being involved, and he didn't want to not be involved because
Bob Keane. Jesus
Bob King.
fucking
Yes,
Christ. How
so
did I forget that?
you can actually hear the pain in his voice sometimes when he's talking about like Inferno and freaking Judgment and
Mhm.
you know Revelations. He's like, oh fuck, man, I wanted to do this, but fucking studios. And my concern is now with David Leone, he's just outside, but now he's getting bigger,
Mhm.
and the spotlight's going to appear on him. And we're seeing this a bit, which we'll dive into. We're seeing a bit how he's starting to react with the spotlight on him, and I'm just hope he doesn't burn this franchise.
Mhm. Well, and especially like there's just so much potential for it to expand way beyond just the scope that it's in. Like there's potential crossovers with other horror franchises, and it's like if he plays his cards right, like that could be fucking huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I heard him talking with Adam Green not
Mhm.
so long ago, and yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, I
gagging
would
for it.
fucking like I would probably never be able to get an erection again because it would just explode seeing an Art the Clown and Victor Crowley crossover. That'd just be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be. Do you know what? Do you know who do the horror crossovers the best? Japanese.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
The Ring versus the Grudge and
Yeah, that's
fucking
such a great movie.
need to dig that out again. Find it where the hell it was like in the darkest recesses of the vaults.
Mhm.
I just randomly came across it. I think about a year and a half ago.
Nice. Yeah, no, I that was one that it's like, do we watch something new or
Let
just
them
watch something
fight.
random? And then that came on and it's like, this is fucking perfection.
That's the sort of shit we need. That's when you're doing crossovers. That's what you need.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Freddy versus Jason.
I will
It's
always love that movie.
yeah,
It could have
it's
been
guilty
better.
pleasure.
Definitely could have been better, but the idea was there.
And all the marketing beforehand and the hype and just making it a comedy fest. Just I showed you that, didn't I? The whole weigh-in. Didn't I show that clip of you? Like when that movie came out.
What's that?
So they had Freddie and Jason do a weigh-in and had what's his face who does all
Oh,
the let's
yeah, yeah,
get ready
yeah.
to rumble.
Yeah.
They did it, and then what was one of the questions? Freddie, do you think your ability to speak will intimidate Jason? And they just really hammed it up, and then you just knew it was going to be a fun time, but there was something missing from that.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, of course, part of it was Kane Hodder not being Jason, but like there was also just something weird about the movie altogether. And especially the decisions they made, like, oh, Jason's scared of water now. Like that doesn't make any fucking
How many
sense.
times he crawled out of water?
Yeah, it's like
Out of
that's
the lake?
literally where he lives.
Yeah, it felt more like a. Do you remember Freddy's Nightmares?
Hmm.
It felt more like a Freddy's Nightmares TV show with
I
Friday
can
the
see
13th
that.
attached, as opposed to a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's
Yeah.
like for Trekkies watching the Next Generation, it's except it's a reverse. It's the difference between watching an episode of the Next Generation versus one of the Next Generation movies.
Hmm.
One's good and can watch again. The other's like, oh my god, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other crossover I can't think of the top of my mind would have tried. It's something that's not done a lot in horror. It's
Hmm.
each has their own little universes, and I don't think they want to infect them or destroy them. Or I mean, I don't even know if it's protectionism.
Well, it's just tricky because I mean, unless it's IPs that are held by like the same company, just legal bullshit would keep it apart. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any successful ones that I've seen. Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing I forgot to mention. Megan, that's been the first movie. Remember we talked about the James Wan Blumhouse crossover, Atomic Monster and Blumhouse? So that was their first movie.
Oh, fucking hey, does it actually feel like a James Wan movie or
no?
No. Oh, weird. That's a shame.
That's what I said. James Wan has such a unique style. How's it going to mix with anything else? I don't get it. But then when I read the article, it's distribution. It must be just getting bums and seats or using somebody else's network. I don't see how artistically they can join together.
But yeah, because they do have pretty distinct voices, like both Blumhouse. Like you can tell when it's a Blumhouse original, not like a Blumhouse acquisition, I guess. And yeah, it's a very distinct type of film. And James Wan, of course, like that's it's a fucking James Wan movie when you're watching it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this progresses. But let's get back to get back to the beginning, right? So the Ninth Circle. This was a short, like 16-minute movie. Very grainy the way they did it. Old school. There's not really much to say. This is this is more of a concept than an actual movie idea.
It is.
This is more of a showpiece.
Yeah, it was definitely a proof of concepts. And ultimately, like if you guys can't find it, go figure. It's really fucking hard to find. I couldn't actually find it without it being like dubbed or whatever. And some
had a Russian guy speaking over the top and translating.
Yeah,
so they spoke in English, and then this Russian guy speaking over the top. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But ultimately, if you guys watch All Hallows Eve, you see the Ninth Circle. Like the Ninth Circle is essentially the opening sequence with the girl at the train station. But they just added a few more scenes that they didn't put in the short film. So don't try to find it. If you do find it, don't watch it. Just watch All Hallows Eve. It's much better.
Yeah. But even in this, Art was just a bit character.
Yeah. I mean, he was essentially the glue that held the different movies together because it's essentially
no. But I mean, in the Ninth Circle.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I haven't got that. In the Ninth Circle, Art was just a bit character. Like he was nothing. Like there was not even any focus on him. He's just somebody in a Halloween costume. Was their thing. Yeah. They put more effort into the devil character and the witches and that sort of thing. I mean, there's more character showcasing, if that makes sense. Even the guy in the bloody shopping cart that came down with the bodies in it had more presence in terms of the movie than Art. Art was just there.
I mean, he was still the catalyst to get her from point A to point B, but yeah, it was definitely not. It could have been anybody else that did what he did, and it wouldn't have changed the story at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sort of point I'm trying to make. So even though that's his debut, he's not really there. And so that's fine. Now, like you're saying, in All Hallows Eve, I think this is the showcasing of the character. I think David was trying to showcase Art and make him something.
Well, I mean, that's ultimately what got the funding for All Hallows Eve was just how, I guess, charismatic Art was in the short film. That they're like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's see where this character will go.
And then, like I said, and that was a clever decision, actually, not to waste the concept movie, the short, put it into the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't understand why he hasn't used that trope and carried it on. There's a potential there. So Ninth Circle ends up being a video in All Hallows Eve. So why couldn't All Hallows Eve be a video in Terrifier?
Oh, yeah.
Do the Drosky effect,
Well, yeah, it's
chance to play that. Maybe that's just me.
I don't know. It could kind of be because I mean they're definitely tied together because obviously Art's in it, but also having oh god, I'm drawing a blank on her name off the top of my head, but the babysitter in All Hallows Eve ultimately ends up being the newscaster in Terrifier. So there's that bit of crossover. Whether the same character or not, I don't honestly remember, but that's kind of tying it together.
No, I don't think she was. No, because her character would have been, you don't go through that and not remember. So she was completely disinterested. The Mandy Rhodes character, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I remember just, she was a tool anyway, a bitch, just she was there to be, set everything up. Yeah, I was just thinking as an idea, just to play with. Doesn't mean it actually work on film, but I like the idea that he took rather than waste the first movie, stick it into the next one, and he actually cleaned it up because it looked better.
Oh yeah,
as a VHS cassette, which was funny.
Yeah, and it was really good too, especially because there wasn't some Russian dude screaming over it. So that helps. Turned out really well.
But I wanted to watch the first one just to make sure that I had the full context. But it didn't. Like I said, it was actually definitely definitely made better. It was cleaned up and
Mm-hmm.
it fitted with the tape. But let's talk about it. Who the hell lets kids watch it? You know what I mean?
That's a cool fucking babysitter, man. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, that could be somebody. You open up and see somebody's arsehole spread in front of the camera, doing
Right.
weird shit. You know what I mean? You don't
Well,
drop video
that's why
cassettes.
she watched it first. She
But she
watched
didn't. The kids were like right there, and then lasted about 5 seconds, and they come in. You're like, really?
Hey, but that's called plausible deniability. She can say that she started screening it before she let them watch it. So she tried, kinda.
Yeah, not really. She's like,
The thing is, and I loved that opening part when the kid pulls the VHS out, because it's like, man, that movie just dated itself, because no kids these days are gonna know what the fuck a VHS tape is. And it's funny, I noticed it. I haven't noticed it the other times I've watched it, but I noticed it this time, like that the kid doesn't even know what the fuck a VHS tape is, because he tries to put it in upside down. And it's like, okay.
the fact to have a VHS player in the house as well is like, okay.
Yeah, it's only douchebags like me that still have VCRs in their house, because there's no reason to keep one.
God, they took up so much space.
Mm-hmm.
And they rattled. I mean, you had to be extremely careful because it came loose and all sorts.
Yeah.
And do you remember cleaning day when you had to clean out the fucking put the cleaner in and just the right amount, because you put too much, it all went fucking rat shit.
Mm-hmm.
You had to squeeze it into the cleaner, and then that was your. How long did that thing run? 45-minute tape, wasn't it?
It was about that.
Yeah, it was about 45 minutes, and that was you had.
And then I was the dumbass that would always like turn on the TV so I could like hear when it was over. So actually watching one, like, because some of them they would actually have a video of like, oh, blah blah blah, this is what we're doing, and it just was dumb as shit.
Oh, them are the days. That's one thing. I don't miss VHS and I don't miss cassette tapes because they were a pain in the arse.
Yeah, I mean, I do and I don't. Like, I mean, I still fucking buy them like an asshole, but at the same time, like, I can fully appreciate why it died.
Yeah,
it's like I'll occasionally buy albums on tape because they'll be like limited release or whatever, and then I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome, and then I'll listen to it and it's like, oh yeah, CDs are better.
yeah. I was like, I bought was it last year, the 40th anniversary edition of Number of the Beast on cassette, and then when I actually plugged it or put it into the machine, it sounded shit.
Yeah,
it proper sounded shit. And then I got the vinyl, and I'm like, oh, that's better.
Right.
Yeah,
especially with shit like that, because they have the actual like tapes, and if you have like actual tape versus digital on vinyl, man, there's a whole other level to that sound that you just can't get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the first revolution of thank fuck we got release cassettes, and when CDs came out, it was like, oh man, this is amazing.
Right.
Apart from the skipping, like you couldn't like
you
couldn't
That was even with the anti-skip thing, you still had to hold your CD player just right.
Yep.
It's like, I'm gonna walk real fucking slow, but this is awesome because I can listen to music while I'm walking.
Fun times.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I don't miss about cassettes. What was it? Use Your Illusion 1. The side B had this. Instead of putting it at the end of the tape, no, they put it at the beginning before November Rain. So this fucking huge bit of silence before the thing. And I used to think it was broken. And then eventually, I think I'd fallen asleep one night and I'd heard the bling, bling. And this is after owning the tape for like months. Because you know when you start playing, you're like, I can't be arsed with this. Just fast forwarded and didn't bother. Yeah, it was like a month or at least 2 months before I actually heard side B because that stupid big gap at the beginning. Like, who the fuck?
Yeah, that's like, definitely a choice.
Yeah, such times. But yeah, VHS, no, because they still have modern phones, so it's weird. In All Hallows Eve, she still had proper mobile, so I think it must be just a pretentious parents' house.
Yeah, definitely.
But the second movie was weird in the anthology. It was just completely like unrelated.
Yeah.
But then
I mean, they tried to keep it related.
It was the most tenuous of tenuous links ever.
Yeah, but it also kind of, I don't know, for that, I feel like that sets up how Terrifier 2 works, because it's like art is an idea as well as a creature, and once somebody starts seeing art in their head, they kind of lose their fucking mind. So it's, I mean, I'm really grasping for straws right now, but
yeah, because the husband was actually the reasonable one on the phone.
Yeah,
he was the reasonable one, and she was the one going batshit crazy, and he was the one that drew art. And then that alien with the fucking vacuum cleaner attached to his back.
I fucking love it. It's so stupid, but so great.
Yeah, and I was like, this is nothing to do with art. Like, but there was meant to be other, directors, and it was David Leone went, how about just use my movies, my idea. So he must have just shoehorned something in there. But it was like, okay, that was a weird bit of this, because then the third anthology movie as an art movie.
Mhm.
That was kind of decent. It was your typical go to your isolated place in the car, see something you shouldn't, get chased.
Mhm.
It was nothing fantastical or complicated about it. It was just your typical short anthology movie, which was decent. Art crawling out of the ground was cool. That was a cool effect.
Yeah, definitely.
To think that she'd actually locked herself in the shed and then he tunnels himself onto the onto the
So
ground.
fucking good.
I was like, God, you're determined, son.
Well, and it's like with this we get that sort of, is he a real person? Is he some sort of paranormal entity? And it kind of always walks the line of what the fuck is he? And I like
And I
that.
don't think that question should be answered.
Agreed. Like it does not need to be answered.
But we live in a world today where everything must be explained.
Mhm.
And that's the problem, because then you lose the magic.
Yeah, and I really hope because ultimately there is going to be a third Terrifier. Like
It's already on. It's already in production, or they're starting the storyboarding for
That's
it.
what I could have swore I saw something, but I don't for the life of me remember. But it's like I really don't want an art backstory. Like I don't need an art backstory because we just need to keep seeing him get bigger and stuff before we get that.
Yeah, even Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy didn't get really a full backstory until part 6.
Mm-hmm.
That was
well, I mean, we
15
started
years worth of movies.
So we started getting it in 4. 5, it got a bit.
5 is
we
weird.
got a little bit more and a little bit more, and then 6 was.
I
straight
still
up.
can't get my head around 5.
I'm a sucker. I fucking love all those movies.
No, don't get me wrong.
It's a hard one.
After our last conversation, I went and bought the fucking box set because I'm like, what am I doing? I'm fucking Freddy's the one that roped me into the horror world. I'm being blasphemous. You know what I mean? Got to rectify that, but I still can't get my head around what his end plan was. It was just weird. But even then, we didn't get the full backstory, and even then, it was still hinted, bits and pieces. But if he's going to start explaining it by the second movie, he's going to ruin it, like one of the newest characters in horror. Kind of. Like, I'm concerned. The bit at the end, obviously, when the tape carries on, because we've all seen this 100 times and wasn't a shock, but it was still fun to watch.
Yeah.
And this is where we see David Leone's style of nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
We have not seen anybody be like that in a long time.
Right. And the thing is too, it's a very tricky line to walk, where there's being mean, like not like nobody's safe, and then there's just being outright a dick and fuck everybody just because. But he manages to stay on the former, where it works. It doesn't feel like he's trying to do shit just to push buttons. Like he's doing it like nobody's safe. But fuck, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Sorry, caffeine hasn't quite kicked in yet.
No,
but I just love how it's nobody's safe, but he's not gonna fucking kill everybody just to be a cunt.
No, he builds good characters, and we've seen Art walk past people and high five them and fucking do stuff. Not a bit, but when he gets zeroed in on that's who I want, like like any serial killer, they've got a certain thing, but we don't know what it is, and I don't think he knows what it is either. But I'm just sick of the anti-hero fucking shit right now.
Yeah,
that villains need love too, sort of thing. There's a reason why we love villains, because they're unrelenting, and in horror you can have we don't care about the meat bags. The meat bags are there to be dispatched.
Yeah, that's literally the only reason they're there.
In horror, we focus on the villain. We don't have heroes. We might have final girls, we might have the returning one, but eventually they get dispatched too. It's just the way things go. We love the villain, but we don't glorify the villain. That's the difference. I don't know. It's a hard one to describe the normies, but seeing someone who's unrelenting makes you appreciate your own your own feel-safe mechanisms, that you don't go and do the same thing. When you see how you could be someone just that they become completely feral and they just live for that. They've nothing else, so they don't really experience any joy in their life. That sort of thing. So you kind of makes you appreciate, well, I could go that direction, but I know it might be fun to watch through the visual of a screen, but I don't want to be like that. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all boils down to, in a sense, it's a great cathartic release to watch somebody else do that, because then you experience it from a safe distance without actually having to be that person. Like you can still be.
And you can kind of offload your baggage. So rather than holding it in and fucking coming out the wrong time, you just offload your baggage onto the villain, and then anything that's going wrong in your life, you imagine that particular villain doing it
Yeah.
and sorting it out, and then it's gone once you fucking dump that out of your head. I think that's why horror fans tend to be a lot happier than
Oh, fuck
fucking...
yeah. Well, I mean, it's horror and metalheads. Like, you listen to shit or you watch shit that's so angry or so violent or just like the darkness of humanity that you get it out of your system. Like, why would you be angry? You just watch somebody else do something that you dream about doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. I got to experience it with them. Cool. I'm going to move on with my day.
That's it. And go and pet puppies and play with your birds and
Fuck yeah.
just, just generally not going to be a friggin' lunatic.
Yeah.
It's but I don't think normies get it.
No, definitely
because
not.
they're too busy holding on to that I'm a nice person sort of thing, but they're the ones that end up doing the gnarly shit.
Oh, of course.
All the time. But one metalhead does something or one horror fan, and then it's fucking the big tower. We knew they were all like that. Fucking nah. But Art is an unapologetic character. I think that's what I love about him. He revels in what he does. Not trying to justify it. There's no fucking big speeches of blah blah blah. It's I fucking love this shit, and I'm gonna fuck people up as best I can once I decide that's who I want to fuck up.
Yep. And it's all a joke to him. And that's what's beautiful.
And the potential that just by a random encounter you could become part of the joke is what makes it terrifying. No,
definitely.
All Hallows Eve 2 didn't have Art in it, so fuck them guys.
Right. Yeah, I
fuck you, All Hallows Eve 2. Double fuck you.
I bought that shit on Blu-ray the second I finished All Hallows Eve OG because I'm like, oh my god, Art is amazing. Because I went backwards. I had seen Terrifier, and I think a lot of people were this way. At least a lot of people I know were this way.
Oh, I was the same.
They saw Terrifier, and then it's like, oh wait, this isn't the first movie. Okay, cool. So I went and bought All Hallows Eve, saw that, and was like, this is fucking great. I need more. And immediately bought All Hallows Eve 2 and was like, oh well, I own this now.
Just put it in the pile. Also, I was talking to Adam last night, and he was like, he saw it on Netflix. I'm like, I don't know if I did or not. And then I realized, yeah, but he did see it on Netflix. I can't even remember. It was just such a random thing, and there was no advertising for it. There's no hype. It was just a movie. Oh, screw me! I was like, oh, clown movie. I like clown movies. Click. Oh, yeah, and of course that's what we're getting to now. Terrifier. This has and I still don't understand why this movie's so divisive. Like, people have lost their minds over this movie, and I think it's like, especially in recent times, and I can't think of another example of pure unapologetic horror. It's, we're making this because we love doing this shit. We're gonna have fun doing it. Come along for the ride if you want. That's the impression I get from this movie. People actually reveling.
Yeah, it was Damien Leone going, well, I want to make this movie because I love this character. I'm gonna make the movie that I want to see. If you guys like it, great. If not, go fuck yourselves. And that's the whole attitude of this movie. And that's when a movie fucking works, is when you're not playing to an audience, you're playing for yourself. And if other people like it, cool. If they don't, whatever. It wasn't for them. And yeah, this was just a perfect success.
And he didn't tell people like this whole thing of, well, it's not you, don't watch if you don't like my politics, don't watch my movie, or if you don't like this, there's none of that shit. He's actually from a couple of interviews, and I got the channel to follow on Instagram just to keep up, and just watching him and his mates, because you may as well say they're mates.
Oh yeah, well, straight up they are
working on the special effects, and they're just having such a blast. And that, you can't fake that joy.
No, not at all.
You can't. Well, this is cool shit. How to work as in the movie, and they're still physically blowing stuff and all. It's not all fucking over. What's the word? Super polished shit. It's proper grimy practical effects, which still beat CGI.
Yeah, definitely.
To this day, like, a modern movie being made with practical effects beats CGI anytime.
Well, it's like CG. It's great to clean up stuff, like if there's a seam showing, or if you're doing something with wires, erasing the wires. Like that's the perfect marriage of the two. Like, but when it's just all CG and you realize you're watching a fucking cartoon, like that's the shit that drives me insane.
Fucking digital blood. I see a movie with digital blood, and I'm just like, oh, fuck off.
Well, shit, that's part of the reason why I stopped watching The Walking Dead. It's like you start recognizing that there's only 4 different patterns that they use, and you can pick them out, and it's like, yeah, I shouldn't be thinking about this. I'm done.
That's TV though. TV is the shittest form of medium. It's fucking...
I don't agree with that at all. Like, back in the day, yes. Now, no. Like, most modern TV shows are better than most movies getting put out. Like The Last of Us. Have you been watching that at all?
I don't want to watch Pedro Potato Head.
you're fucking wrong. I'll just tell you that much.
No, I've
This-
heard good things, but I'm just
This
like,
show is fucking amazing
but why him?
because he's a great actor.
Fucking, he just needs to be hit by a bus or something. Fucking can't look at his fucking smug face. Just want to
Oh man,
fucking
dude, this is honestly
put him by his ears. And fucking
like this is a completely different performance than I've seen him do, and like especially if you've played the game, like he embodies that character so well. So I would say if you get a chance to see it, you probably should. You might change your mind about him.
No, I just yeah, he just annoys me. It's like, what's his face out of Scream? He played Shaggy Doo or Shaggy or Scooby Doo.
See, I can understand
fucking stand him.
people having an issue with him. I don't, but I can understand it. Pedro Pascal, I don't know though. That I fucking love that man.
Each to their own.
Yeah. But he's not in Terrifier, so let's get on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him being in the scene. It'd be like the House of Wax. You know, remember that fucking idiot Paris Hilton?
Mm-hmm.
But then this shows how fucking clever that bitch was. She wound everybody up, and then she still made money off their hatred, our hatred, my hatred, whatever you want to put, by having one of the most glorious death scenes.
Oh yeah,
and people are actually going, yay! And you're like, that bitch just fucking made money, took us all for a ride.
Oh yeah,
fucking fell for it.
That's exact. That is honestly, that's what got most people I know's asses in the seats. Was, oh, she dies in this. Obviously, I have to watch it. 'Cause fuck her. And it's like,
I want
damn
3 tickets so I can stretch out and enjoy this.
Right.
And ban the seat in front of me so I can plop my feet up and just fucking be there for the zone.
Yeah, that was a damn smart move.
Fucking bitch. Yeah, if Pedro Potato Head gets mangled in Terrifier 3, just appears like a random person and gets fucking crushed, I'd be happy. Just talking about the catharsis and just, yeah, fuck you. Anyway. So the major upgrade, and we'll have to talk about this because it's absolutely genius, is Art the Clown goes from having a carrier bag to full-size black bin bag.
The fuck, yeah.
That's when you know you're in the big leagues.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he tripled, if not quadrupled, his amount of goodies.
See in the first one, he's got the little fucking baggie. Mm-hmm. And you're like, hang on a minute, that's not right.
Right.
He has to have at least double or triple bag.
Yeah, it's especially all the shit that he's got in there. That's got to be heavy as hell, and like it's any normal garbage bag it would have tore through. And it's just it's great because it makes him like a really trashy anti-Santa Claus, and I like that.
Yeah, and I love the whole I don't give a shit attitude. You know, I think they kind of put a wee bit of Nightmare on Elm Street. That's why I keep thinking of it. In the second one, when he's starting to make shit, but the first one he's just throwing shit into a bag, and we don't know, is this his lair? Is this where he lives? No idea. And then he just walks on out for Halloween rampages. I can't get over his boots.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody's worn clown boots for like months to get them bashed up like that, but I don't know. I'm just fascinated how his boots have got characters on their own.
Yeah, just every single aspect of him. Like you can tell this is somebody that was created, or a character that was created by somebody who is an FX artist, because every aspect of the costume has character. Just each standalone piece has a story, and it's insane.
And that's for a splatter punk, like, yeah, it's more splatter than slasher. You know, it's definitely that sort of cheesy gore, but it isn't as well. It's hard to.
It's I stick by this is a straight up slasher because a splatter, like that's more like what I feel like that's more like torture porn, where there's an antagonist, but it's more so what's happening that's the character that you're concerned about versus the person that's killing the people.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of torture porn. I can tolerate it, but I think it's very repetitive.
That's the problem. It's very, it's just straight up repetitive. Like the first Saw, I dug it. I mean, granted, the first time I saw it was opening night, Halloween night, back in the day when you actually had to wait in line to get into a movie and you had to fight for a seat. Like it was just a whole different experience. I was also really fucking high on all kinds of shit that I shouldn't have been on, but it was a very, like, that was a fun experience. But everyone after that, it's just sort of like, I don't know. Like 2 was good, 3 was okay. I just checked out after 3.
Yeah, I got as far as 3 and that was it. I was like, okay.
And then like the Hostels, the first one was good. The second
I
one,
went
the
on a
only
date
good
for the Hostel, and it was her suggestion.
Oh, really? That's pretty fucking awesome.
No, because she didn't realize what she was watching, freaked out.
Oh, that's even better.
And I just went, well, not getting any action tonight, but this was funny.
Oh, that
was funny. I don't know what makes this movie different, I think, is that he spends not just the intricacies of the costume and the look, but the characters. They're actually well-rounded characters in this.
Mm-hmm.
These could have been your empty heads. Even the two, Victoria and Dawn,
Mm-hmm.
could have been empty-headed bimbos, but they weren't. They were nice girls who just happened to be on a night out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, normally with these sort of movies, you've just got, like I said, the meat bags just fucking swing along.
Yeah, that was definitely done right, because you felt for them. You didn't want to see them hurt. I mean, you did because it's a fucking
it's a horror
slasher.
movie.
But before their deaths, you're actually like concerned about them. Like, oh man, I kind of don't want them to die. So it's very different than your traditional slasher where they're just literally there because it's like, ooh, I wonder how this one's gonna die.
And there's no superfluous characters. Like the guys in the pizzeria are just decent, hardworking blokes. Fuck. And then with that a repeat because this is from the All Hallows Eve anthology. Seems to be our thing to go in and fucking desecrate toilets. It's like, how do you get that costume off in such a small space and do what you do? It's like, okay,
yeah.
But yeah, there are hardworking Joes. Even like the guy in the apartment block. You know, the what do you call him? The exterminator. Yeah, decent bloke, just doing his job.
Yeah,
and that gives this a new dimension as opposed to your typical slasher movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Because even this brief moment, you're feeling for these characters, like,
and even like the crazy lady, like
the cat lady. Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about her. That's
any other movie, she would be a throwaway character.
Yeah,
just a filler piece, and we get so much from her. Like we even get a different side of Art because of her. I mean, of course, it ultimately is just him playing more into the joke.
But... Yeah, I was going to say that's that's. You think you're going to get through the art, you know? Oh, right, this is like every fucking antagonist ever. Oh, they've got a tragic backstory, and we can just find their heart will cure them and bring them over to the light. You know the normies expect. It's like nah.
Yeah, no, definitely not with this. Like that's where we get like just I don't want to say it's one of the more brutal things because like not a single thing that he does in this isn't brutal, but it's like she's concerned for him. I mean, she's more so concerned for her surrogate daughter, but in turn she decides to care for him, and boy does that fucking backfire for her.
Yeah, because it's like, is there any kindness? Do you show any mercy? And he just, fucking hell. And he makes Wild Bill look like a fucking amateur.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Buffalo Bill doesn't have shit on him.
Buffalo Bill. Sorry, I'm Wild Bill. I agree, Mal. Sorry.
No, that's what you said. That's totally what I heard you say.
All right. Yeah, I meant Buffalo Bill. Sorry, I was thinking.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Art is even though he's like, oh, she might have ran away, he's still playing into the fucking character that he's dressed as. Like he's still walking around doing the hair flip and enjoying himself and shit. And then he realizes that she's in there and goes into attack mode. It's just God, he's so fucking good.
This is there's something about physicality. There's no dialogue in this, but you get a full sense of a character. Like there's characters that speak that give you no insight as to their makeup or what they're about.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we'll have to emphasize that this is a mime, and it's the most rounded character for actually one of the most rounded characters because you look at other franchises like fucking wooden planks going across the screen.
Yeah,
at
definitely.
The moment, fucking ripped up junkies and skin tight suits. That's all movies are today.
Well, and that's always a great sign of like something that's gonna stick around for a while is when you have a character that doesn't speak at all, but you get just like you understand that character. Like the only other movie I can think of where it was, in my opinion, really successful was See No Evil. Like the main antagonist doesn't speak at all, but you get so much emotion from him. Like he's on a different playing field than the other characters in the movie. It's so great when that shit works because it adds such another level of just what the fuck is wrong with them.
Yeah, and once again, Art is unapologetic. I think you find yourself joining in the glee.
Oh, absolutely.
You're joining in. You're going. You're like, I am fucked up in the head.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Anytime
like you have that moment afterwards, you're like, I am one seriously disturbed puppy. So I can understand this is not a franchise for normies. I think I've said this before.
Yeah,
this is not your first step into horror.
If it is, that's fucking awesome, and you're probably going to be scarred.
if you survive the experience, don't come out. Blah, 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 blah. This is watch Megan first, watch Poltergeist first, watch a few fucking soft ones and build yourself up. Put a wee bit of spit in the hole first before you fucking ram this one in.
Yeah.
This is not a franchise just to dive into. This is advanced level fucking horror.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I feel like we should bring up one thing like that we haven't talked about, like
Mm.
the difference in character, like the different actor.
well, I was going to bring
Yeah.
that up afterwards. After we
Oh,
talk about-
afterwards?
well,
Okay, then yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk.
Do you
about
see the
that.
notes? I put that at the end. Megan
Uh,
Gianelli.
I did. I looked over it yesterday, and I already forgot what the hell
All right,
the
so
end points were. But okay, so yeah, let's.
what I
we'll
was
talk
going to
about
do is we'll talk about each movie, and then at
Mm.
the end, I've got like some points. And
Yeah,
one
yeah,
Meg Gianelli versus David Howard
Yeah.
Thornton.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's get to the end of Terrifier because I mean, really, it's just a pure gore fest. It's beautiful. Like all
It's
the kills
brilliantly
just
paced.
progressively get better and better.
Yeah, it's brilliantly
and-
paced as well.
And then of course, like yeah, and that's the thing. Like it's an hour and 20 minutes. That is a perfect runtime for a slasher.
Mhm.
So I've got a problem with the second one.
Yeah, well,
But like the Terrifier ends perfectly. The cops finally show up. He knows that he's fucked. So he's reaching for his holdout pistol and turns
hey,
around and you
Chris,
think,
welcome.
hey, Chris. But he turns around, you think he's gonna go after the cops, and nope, that motherfucker blows his brains out.
Yep, just
Great. Just like you don't see that. And that is so fucking refreshing. Like it was such a great ending. And then of course, like the morgue scene and all that shit, it sets up Terrifier 2, and it's just it's great.
And then we get the reveal of Vicky. Hey, this
Yeah.
is a strange character
Mhm.
because she was just wrong place, wrong time. You know, her sister called her.
Mhm.
And for her to end up the way she did, being the person at the start, just completely batshit crazy
Mhm.
because of the experience, because he was eating her face.
Yeah.
Like when the cops come in, he was like, "Arr, arr, arr," and like, oh, okay, right, that's what we're doing then.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny too, like to see him turn like that, because we didn't get any sort of glimpse of him being cannibal in the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
He's got her blood on his hand, and he's like, oh, tries it, and then it's like, huh, okay, and decides, hey, I'm gonna eat her fucking face. Like that's a great character moment.
Yeah. And then, like I said, it comes full circle that Vicky is in the wheelchair and she's the one that killed the fucking show host. And
Yeah.
it was just such a, whoa, where's this coming from?
Mm.
And then we'll go on to Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
Now, I was stoked for this movie.
Same.
Genuinely stoked and excited to watch this.
I was, of course, excited as hell to see it, but I mean, I was definitely cautiously excited because I had heard interviews, I listened to different podcasts and shit before actually seeing it, and just the biggest thing that everybody was complaining about was the runtime. And I was like, I like movies that are long. Like if it has a purpose, like if it deserves to be that long, I don't give a shit. I'll sit down and watch a 3-hour movie. This could have had an hour shaved off.
Yeah, I think what happened though, it was a victim of its own success because this was partially crowdfunded. Sorry, God, I've got a wee bit of heartburn here.
Well,
chicken.
It's because I mean the first movie was partially crowdfunded, and yeah, it was a just blatant success. And with this, it's I've got all the time in the world to work on this, and it's my movie, and nobody's really breathing down my neck, so I'm just gonna do what I want to do with it.
Yeah, but he was trying to raise 50 grand, and he got 250 grand in 24 hours. And I was like, take your time, crack on, you do what you need to. Okay then.
Yeah.
Do you remember we've talked about before? When is it ever a good idea for a studio to interfere? Would this have been an occasion where a studio been involved?
Usually,
just like we've seen, and I'll always use Hellraiser as the fucking pure franchise that's been folded over the desk and dunkied into multiple times by the studio. But could this have been a case where another set of eyes or an overseer maybe reined them in a bit? Would have been good?
I think so. Because the thing is, like, upon the second viewing of Terrifier 2, I understand the story arc better. Like, I understand point A to point B, and I get it. It didn't need to have as much setup. Like, all of the art stuff where it was just him being wacky and killing people and shit, that was great. Don't cut any of that. That's what we all came to see.
Yeah.
But the story arc of the family going through their pain of losing the father.
Klein Cafe.
Oh my God.
The Klein Cafe.
That to me was the Canto Bite scene in The Last Jedi. You get rid of that, it changes literally nothing except the runtime, and I would have been fine with it. Because the thing is, I understand it's supposed to be like, it's set up as a dream. So, okay, cool. She's having a fucking weird dream. That wasn't necessary. We don't need that.
We've already seen in the first one, Art can appear anytime he wants. And usually he roams the streets. He just comes out, starts his thing. This is where I struggle. This whole backstory or tenuous link, and it's back to All Hallows Eve, that second movie of the husband drawing this horrible face, which turned out to be, was in his dreams. But it wasn't him that went crazy. He was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was perfectly reasonable down the phone, but it was her, and it was completely unrelated to the painting.
Yeah.
This is what this feels like.
Yeah.
That kind of jumbled. He hasn't quite figured out what he wants, or I think he's overthinking it now.
Yeah, because it does kind of ride the line of, is he a human? Is he I guess the only other thing
he's a
really
supernatural creature. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The Ninth Circle we didn't know, but in All Hallows Eve, he's a supernatural creature.
Yeah, it's like, is he a tulpa? Is that what he's trying to get at? I don't know.
Cameron's using Star Wars metaphors.
Dude, welcome to the fucking show. I can relate everything to Star Wars.
We still have I'm sorry, the Last Jedi broke me.
Same. And
I just couldn't go anymore. Cameron still maintains faith, but I'm just like, no.
It's so hard too with that fucking movie. Like, I try to watch it once a year to find something to like about it, and every time I watch it, I just hate it more and more. And it's like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I don't go into a fucking movie to be like, oh, this is stupid and I don't like it. Why? I'm gonna probably die fairly young, because that's just likely what's in the cards for me. So why would I want to waste any of my precious time being grumpy if I don't have to be? Like, I watch movies so I get past being a grumpalump. But that movie, man, every fucking time I just feel like I need to punch something.
I do all the social media for the channel, so I'm on fucking every platform you can imagine. And I try not to stay too long, but you can't not. When you're going and checking and see notifications, and you see the fucking bile when you're being called names by somebody. Like, for example, if David Leone was going, oh, fucking horror fans are dicks, fucking blah, 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 you'd be like, really, dickhead? Okay, well, fuck you and fuck your movie.
I don't know. Someone like that saying that, I'd be like, yeah, no, he's right.
No, he'd probably be like, yeah, horror fans are dicks, but I fucking love it. I love these dicks because I fucking don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's someone like that. It's you calling your friends bad names because they're your friends.
Yeah.
But yeah,
obviously, you Americans take a wee minute to get used to that. I remember fucking Adam. He had major trouble with me giving him dog abuse, and was like, "Fuck, it's endearment." And I took him out going, "What the hell?" I'm like, "You're my mate. I wouldn't call you arsehole if you weren't my mate."
Right? Like, exactly. That's the thing. You are the worst to people you care about.
But somebody else jumps in and fucking means it. Well, guess what? Stand by.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna break your fucking nose.
Everyone in the group turns around, and that person's in for a bad day.
Right.
But yeah, so I kind of lost my train of thought.
All right. Well, okay.
We've never done that before.
I feel like we got ahead of ourselves with this, because I do want to talk about the introduction. It starts off the same way that the first one started off, with just a TV in a room, which is great. Like, that's how it should be. But more importantly, we get the next day. Like, it's literally happens. The end of Terrifier 1 is the beginning of Terrifier 2, where he's in the morgue. He's taking out the mortician, and then he decides he has to clean up. And that is fucking hilarious. Goes to a laundromat, is just like, yeah, no, this is perfectly normal. This is where people come to clean their clothes. And he's just sitting there.
Grabs spare change.
Yeah, that was great.
He raids the mortician's drawer to fucking get spare change.
Yeah, steals his wallet. And who the fuck puts change in their wallet? Like, that's a little weird to me.
That's I don't know. Back in my dad had one of them wee leather things that you coin wallets used to have.
No, I totally get that. I mean, shit, let me see. Yeah, I have one. I totally understand. Like, there's change in there, but putting like your actual billfold, like it's a billfold, you put bills in it.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting choice.
But the fact that he fucks it all in the black bag as well.
Yeah.
Throws the change in there, you're like, oh my god. And that's what I mean. This movie starts off bloody great. It's we're just getting the continuation, and no problem with that whatsoever. And then we get introduced to the little pale girl.
Yeah, and I fucking love that character. She's essentially pointless, but I don't care. Like, she's so great because she is just as creepy, if not creepier, than Art.
Yeah, and it's his imaginary friend, and it's almost like, well, let's go back to comic books. It's like every time somebody tries to go into the mind of the Joker, for example, not the fucking Joaquin Phoenix one. That's its own thing. But normal Joker,
normal,
not weird Joker. but trying to get into his mind. He doesn't know himself.
No, not at all.
And that's what's being played out here. But yeah, she just appears. Of course, we get some gore. Fair play to the wee girl that plays the character. There must be a lot of edits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
because
she
there's no
doesn't
way
fully-
that there's
It's like,
a
remember
fucking
we
full-grown
reviewed The
Nathan.
Witch? Do you
What's
remember
that?
we reviewed The Witch?
Mm.
And they had the young lad, they had the whole discussion of, right, how can we tell him he's having an orgasm without him actually knowing he's having an orgasm?
Yeah.
And how they were protecting from this shit, and it's all the jump cuts and the camera angles because, right, we can't have it in the script. Okay, you're going to stare at your sister's tits now.
Yeah.
To a fucking 11-year-old. It's like, so you can kind of say, right, she's in her own wee green room, and then they shuffle her on for this bit, and then it's like, okay, need you just to out, right, put the earphones back on, fucking nothing to see here, walk out. And then it all gets incorporated. And then she's going to turn 18. Well, she'll probably say it before that, but officially she'll watch this about 10 years later and go, what the fuck was I in?
Right.
But yeah, she's just an extra dimension just for the wackiness. And that's what I hope he doesn't lose. And that's what my concern is.
Yeah.
This could go mainstream and then become stupid, where the off the cuff, like in the first one, the cat lady, that was a completely pointless character, but he fucking made it work brilliantly.
Yeah.
And he does the same with this, the little girl, because then next thing you know, the guy was sleeping, he wakes up and he sees Art Klein completely naked, apart from his thing, playing patty cake with fucking thin hair. And you're like, yes, that's it's this madness and just insanity and off the real shit that we'll want to see.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. Like, it's just so stupid that you love it.
Yeah, I hope David doesn't lose his spark. I really do hope that, because he has this ability to use the same tropes but just go off the cuff with something random and make it work. And I hope he never loses that, because we don't see enough of it.
No, really.
It's almost a lost art now.
Well, and that's the hard part, because like the thing that kind of made this movie not as great as it could have been was also the thing that could destroy a movie like this and a mind like his. It's like, we need somebody that's going to wrangle him in just a little bit, just a hair, like that. We need him to have a Jiminy Cricket character.
Yeah, a voice in the ear, just a hand in the shoulder.
But it's like, once studio money is involved, that's when it's like micromanaging from hell. And that's what terrifies me, is that he's going to get funding from somewhere like that, and they're going to rein it in, but they might rein it in too much. And
I hope he sticks with the crowdfunding model.
I
genuinely
don't,
do.
because the problem is, like, that's always a gamble. I mean, making a movie is always a gamble, but like, it's a kind of thing where it could have nothing to do with the art, but it could be like you launched your campaign at the wrong time when something else big that everybody wants to donate to launches, and that can ruin your fucking movie. That can ruin whatever. Like, I've seen it happen from different creators that I follow. Like, they just launched it at the wrong time, and because of that, they failed.
Yeah. Now, he hasn't 100%. I mean, he's got private investors, and then he supplemented with the crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So he doesn't put all his eggs in one basket. But I would like to think as well, the money being made from these movies, he's got a pot. I'd like to think he's sensible enough. And it sounds like he's been in the business at the coalface for a long time. So how will I put this? I hope he's not going to be a pretentious dickhead and be like a typical Hollywood arsehole, like a fucking, how do you call that, Paul Feig or those sort of dickheads, or fucking Taika Waititi. Hope he doesn't end up like that. Or
I mean,
Robert Gordon Green.
I think there's worse things to happen if he turns out like Taika Waititi. Like, I fucking love that man and everything he does. Like, even when he does studio movies, it is still like you can see his voice. Like, I like that guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't care about the actual thing being a success. What I mean is,
Yeah,
I hope David's sensible, and the pot, the money's not just getting all blown on coke and hookers sort of thing, or big fucking super villas. I hope there's a fucking plan for the future, so he can stay away from the studios. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? I hope he has a plan, a long-term plan to stay. A studio can be involved for distribution, but the actual creation of the product can stay out of them fucking grubby mitts as long as possible.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to hope that is going to go, because I love this franchise. I genuinely do. I've never actually getting excited about a new movie. That's been fucking ages. It's almost like a weird emotion.
Right.
Like, oh, here's the next one. Okay, let's see what this is about. Oh, that actually was good. good. What a shock. You know, I'm bored with that. I want to be excited again. I want to not be preached to. I want to be, oh, here comes the next thing. Yay. And be genuinely excited.
That's the thing about this. Like, this franchise definitely doesn't have, and I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, well, you can't have a message in your movie. That's fucking stupid. Don't preach to me. To an extent, like if it's like there's this thing that people don't understand anymore called subtext, but
we have discussed it many times in this show.
Yeah, but it's like with this,
times.
There is no message. This is literally just, I'm going to showcase my FX skills and you're going to jerk off to it, and that's what we got.
Speaking of jerking off, what do you think of Sienna? That just fucking
that's funny.
Yeah,
it's so there was so much potential because starting off in the movie, I do like her as a character, like as the driving force behind what I'm going to call story B, because story A, of course, is just Art's wacky antics. She was great because
what makes this unique is he spends time in the characters. Maybe a bit too much time in this movie, but
yeah, definitely too much time in this movie. But the thing is, it's like with her, she's immediately like you feel for it, because within the first few minutes of that family story arc, you realize that dad's gone. Dad was insane before he was gone, and this family's trying to, rebuild their lives, after that tragedy. Which, I mean, that shit's hard. Anybody that's gone through that understands. Like, it is.
The mother's not coping. She hasn't dealt with her grief yet.
Yeah, and then the brother's fucking insane, and she's somehow the only normal one that made it through the other side fine. So yeah, she starts off fantastic, but then I feel like it's just too much. Just too much. Like, they stayed on their story arc longer than was necessary, and I think that's part of what kind of ruined those characters for me.
Yeah, they were trying to build a backstory, and there's a backstory that doesn't need to be told.
Well, the thing is, like, the backstory was fine.
No, I mean the whole Art backstory.
Oh yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, that's where, again, I feel like he's a tulpa, and like that's how he kind of came into play. Is like somebody imagines him, and then they slowly lose their mind, and you could tell from the dad's notebook, sketchbook, whatever, that he started seeing this creature in his head, and then he realized, oh fuck, this creature's real, and started researching all the murders and stuff that he did, and that's ultimately when it ended up taking his sanity and then taking his life. So it's like, I got it.
Yeah, well, we were playing Call of Cthulhu last night, so we all know about insanity rules. I can fucking go wrong for you. Yeah, but I think they were trying to explain too much or tie it all together. They were doing the George Lucas, everyone lives in 5 planets in the entire universe, like him. He did that, everyone's fucking connected, even fucking throwaway droids, so to speak. I was like, no, stop it. And he's fallen into that trap. That's why I've got concerns, and I hope people just don't blow smoke up his arse, but without being nasty. Do you know what I mean? I'm at it with love, as in, mate, we love what you do, but this is what's happened before, and we can see it. Just please don't do this, but don't be like, oh, fucking shit. That's never going to get anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like he has to have heard all the shit and all the complaints over the, like, since
he's
this
in
came out.
contact with the fans. He's not an aloof person.
Yeah.
From
so it's like
what I've seen.
I hope he doesn't like take it to heart, or like he does take it to heart, but he doesn't take it to heart in a way, because really it's, again, my biggest complaint is the whole story arc of the family was set up and done in the first fucking scene.
Yeah.
That is all we needed. Like all the interstitial shit, like where she's building the costume, that's fucking cool. I dug that. I mean, I'm a costume builder, so that's probably why I was like, oh man, she's doing that. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. I fucking love that. But like everything else, it was just repetitive and unnecessary.
Like the whole dream, but
oh god, and yeah, like we're just not even gonna talk again. That's like Canto Bite. It's fucking pointless.
Yeah. That was not. And then she could have went to the store to pick up paint or something, the costume builder store, and then accidentally, because the whole point of Art is you accidentally bump into him, and that's the encounter's so random, and he either fixates on you or he doesn't.
Yeah.
There's times he'll just walk past you, you'll not even be aware of him. Oh, that was the guy in clown costume, right? That was interesting. Walk on, get on with your life. Other times, that's going to be the worst thing that ever happens to you.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this character, and I'm worried that he doesn't understand that about his own creation, and that's the frightening thing. And you could walk down the street, and you could walk down that street 100 times, and that one time you meet the fucking scary individual that wants to fucking eat your face.
Yeah.
And they're going to actually do it. And that's the beauty of horror, because you just don't know. And
yeah, it's all just chaos.
But this whole trying to build a connection between them, and it's all destined and fucking meant to be. It's like, no, don't do that.
Well, and with that, that's where I kind of lean towards him being a tulpa, because it's already in their consciousness of this this creature, and is that what attracted him to that family? Because like there's that, but then the chance encounter at the Halloween store. I don't know. It's a lot of confusing things.
And this is where if he doesn't, he can course correct right now. He can course correct before the third movie, and this franchise will go on for decades.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he doesn't course correct and he goes down this road, it's done.
Well, and that's the disheartening thing. Like, people want to say that horror fans are fucking grumps and they don't want anything new. They just want the same shit over and over again. And that's not true. Like, speaking for myself, and I guarantee I'm speaking for a lot of other people, we've been dying for new slashers since fucking Jason, since Freddy. And we got it with Victor Crowley, but what was the next thing? And anytime a new slasher pops up, we champion it and hope to God that it's going to become bigger. Like Leslie Vernon, I wish there would have been more. That character, that universe that he was in, like that could have gone on forever. That could have easily been like the new Freddy, where we get 10, 20 films and it's all different but within the same universe. And for whatever reason that didn't work. So it's like with this, it's like, oh my God, is this going to be the new one? Is this going to be the one that has a 10 movie deal? Like, just God, give me that, please.
Yeah, I think we're on that precipice right now. I think that's where it is. It's on that precipice where the editor takes that step back, or he's going over the edge. And I just hope the right people are talking to him. He seems to have a good tight-knit group, and he seems to be quite an open person, and he doesn't seem to be extremely fake, and he talks to other creators as well who love their craft, and he's friends with Adam Green. They seem to have hit it off. There's the opportunity there to have the conversation away from, and because he's not Hollywood, that's why I reacted the way I did. I know it was a joke, the nominating for an Oscar, but I'm like, oh fuck, no, don't get that fucking spotlight. Even as a joke, that's like fucking saying Candyman 5 times. Don't fucking do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which, by the way, I'm reading Books of Blood, and the original fucking Candyman story is 100 times better than anything in film.
Dude, I'm stoked, man. I've got all 6 sitting right there, and hopefully I'll be graduating in the next week. And as soon as I'm fucking done, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to decimate those books.
Oh yeah, and they're great. Some of them are like you'll just race through it. And the other ones are a bit slower to get through. They're all short stories. Great series, fantastic writer. But the original Candyman, for example, the way he's written it, it's very British though, but it's the bleakness of the British condition and of the 70s and 80s.
So here's the thing: is it British like A Clockwork Orange, or is it just okay? Good.
British in terms of the culture of the council estate.
Okay, gotcha.
Or the projects. It's a bit, everywhere has their slums. Over here, it's the council estates, and they're fucking grim places. And some of them are like you are getting into the fucking wilderness. You're taking the wrong turn. The hills have eyes. Some council estates in the middle of cities are the hills have eyes, but they're fucking tenement blocks. But it's a uniquely British thing because of the geographical location and because it's such a tiny island. Yet we have this diversity that you can go 5 miles and be somewhere where people speak completely different accents, languages, all in the space of fucking 20-mile radius. You can have about 6 languages and dialects, and it's not comparable to America, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally understandable.
But you'll get, it's still a horror story. You'll get it, and then you'll understand.
I just always worry when somebody says, "Oh, it's really British." Like, I just always worry that it's going to be like A Clockwork Orange, because I fucking love that movie. I love that story. That novella, I have tried to sit down and read it like 7 times, and I just cannot wrap my dumb American brain around the dialect. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. But then again, I've read Clive Barker before. I should understand. Like,
he's such a way, and it's universal the way he writes anyway.
Yeah,
it reaches you. But anyway, there's another tangent. Yay! And also, bit of a prelude for a show coming up.
Hell yeah! That's exactly. It wasn't a tangent. It's a tie-in.
Because we will be talking about Lord of Illusions.
Hell yeah!
It's scheduled up. Put it on your notifications, folks, and be there for it, because that's definitely going to be a good one.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I think we've kind of touched on this. Sienna, is she overhyped? I'm still in
like kind of.
She's not a Mary Sue. I'll give her that.
No, she definitely earns her place at the end, and the way she makes it through, like she fucking fights for it.
She gets a melt knocked out of her. Like there's particular scene is fucking brutal.
Mhm.
And we've seen the scene before with the same weapon.
Mhm.
You know, and that's an art weapon. That whip,
Yeah.
that's definitely an art. That's a unique art weapon. Just the way he puts it together. Yeah, we've seen whips, we've seen blades before, but that whole thing. Yeah, it was All Hallows Eve, the third one, when he comes into the barn. He has the same weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, even using that, it was still more graphic. The tension behind it, and the fact that he used it on a kid as well.
Yeah, I did like that because it's like, you know, of course nobody's safe with this character.
Yeah.
But as soon as he starts doing that shit, it's like, oh man, that's a taboo because you're not supposed to hurt kids or some shit. And I love that the kid's out and he's trying to wake him back up, but he's not waking up. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll eat his arm. That's how the kid wakes up.
Yeah. And he's doing all the expressions. Like,
yeah.
And that's why I'm concerned, because this is such a fucking, that's like, it's so refreshing to see this character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think, like you said, take out that whole backstory bit, and I think Sienna would actually be a lot better instead of being the destined one, just as a protective older sister, and just as somebody who's had enough of people's shit.
Yeah, because that in and of itself is totally believable and would have got her to the same point. Now, I mean, of course, with the ending, you kind of had to have all that stuff, because otherwise, how does the magical sword fix her?
Yeah, but then her injuries, you know, that the fight scene, and this is my complaint, that last fight scene goes on forever.
Mm-hmm.
So cut out the bit where she gets stabbed, cut out the bit where she sustains as much in terms of injuries, and just, she's been knocked out twice anyway.
Right. And now she's in the basement of the basement of the basement.
Yeah.
Which is apparently the clown cafe.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious, because she was in the water tank. Of course, I had to take her boots off. And I just wondered, did they do a scene first with the boots on? And she just went, "Fudunk."
Right.
And everyone, oh shit. I just had this picture of her just going, "Vump," you know, oh shit, right? Okay, take your boots off.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of that needed to happen.
No, it really didn't. Like, we got the little artsy fartsy thing where she essentially dies and her mom's there to take her over to the other side. Cool. Let's stick with that.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need that and then the dunk tank. Like, that just, like, we get it. She's dying, but she's gonna come back because she's the main protagonist.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like, upon second viewing, other than the runtime and the essentially filler, like, that was one of my biggest problems, is that was wholly unnecessary.
Yeah, no, I'm totally in agreement. That was my issue the first time, and then the second time just reinforced it. But I was able to take out the other bits. I'll be honest with you, the Clown Cafe could have been promo videos.
Yeah.
That would have been an amazing promo video. Just fucking take all that out, put it together, and put it in a random thing, stick it on YouTube.
Or that could be the fucking trailers, where we don't actually get anything from the movie. It's just the stupid, wacky shit, because that would have made sense.
Yeah, no, nothing to do with the actual plot, but just have art shit. Just yeah, that was not wasted, but I think he's come up with an idea, and I said it's back to the crowdfunding thing, because he was only trying to raise 50 grand and he got like $500,000 or something in total. You know, it's got stupid amount, went way over, and he's like, oh, I got money to play with.
Yeah,
I've got ideas that I want. You know, he's got all I can just picture him having fucking notebooks of like ideas.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he just seems to be that sort of person, that he's just, all his shit's there and he just wants reasons to use it. I get it. He's a creative person.
Yeah,
but that's, like we said, just somebody to be like, David, you're doing it again. Oh,
yeah,
sorry. You have to do with me sometimes, Colin.
Okay, that's the thing. Everybody needs that person to rein them back just a hair.
Yeah, your crazy idea for the podcast isn't going to work, Colin. All right, okay, but I wanted to give it a go. It's going to take 24 hours worth of fucking editing. Oh shit. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh god, we haven't talked about, right, we need to go back to Terrifier 1 and compare to Terrifier 2, because we have two of the most iconic death scenes in horror.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and with the first one, the thing that really, really makes it just so brutal is the fact that even as he's like right up here on her chin, she's still moving. And it's like, god damn, so rough.
Are you talking about Dawn's scene in the first one?
Yeah.
Upside down?
Yeah.
It's just
sawed in half.
The fucking brain, it's still like, happening. Yeah, that has to be, just that's up there. Like in terms of horror movies, you go to death scenes, that's going to be there. But then we'll have to talk about Amy in Terrifier 2, because you're like, how the fuck can you up the ante for that? And then we'll meet Amy, and
Ali,
isn't it? Ali, sorry. Sienna's friend, the one that didn't turn up for the party, the one that basically he turns up at her door trick or treating.
Yeah, that shit. In no other world other than Terrifier, like the Terrifier universe, would somebody still be alive through all that. Like Shock would have taken her out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kept going and going and going. And it's like, man, how much can this person fucking sit through?
But even like the first part, because it's done in like 2 bits, or the first bit was actually just cutting her, fucking slicing through her eye, breaking her arm off, and she is in bits.
Yeah.
And she's struggling towards the phone, and we thought he'd finished with her, but nah, he comes back with fucking bleach and salt.
Yeah, so fucking
and you're
funny.
Like, I complete, even the second time, the first time I'm like, holy shit, this isn't over. I'm like, oh my god, and I haven't felt like that with a horror movie in so long, and it's like brilliant. It's like, oh, I want more of this. That's what I got into horror for in the first place.
Right.
To be like, holy shit, I was not expecting that. Even the second time. So he goes and starts pouring bleach and salt over her wounds and fucking packing it in, and then when the mother comes home, he's still fucking with her.
Yeah.
And this was, we don't know how much time's passed, but Jesus Christ, that had to be one of the most drawn out bit. Like, what a way to go.
Yeah, right. Like, fuck that.
Their face is gone, and she's like, so we know that this is not going away anywhere. Like, even if it stops at this movie and goes no further, this is a piece of horror history. Definitely. This is a character that's went from nowhere to up there. You know what I mean? I'd put him next to Pennywise or Stitches or Freddy or Jason. Like, this is when you think of a character synonymous with horror, Art the Clown is definitely there.
Yeah, definitely.
No ifs, buts, or anything about it. What did you think of, and this is where I think he's explaining too much, actually going to explain the word Terrifier, as in making it the Terrifier ride?
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Like, what? It's unnecessary. And we talked about that earlier. It's like, we don't need a backstory. We don't need anything. We just need to see a character that lives in the moment, living in the moment and being himself. So yeah, I thought that was a little weird. I mean, of course, it sets up where his imaginary friend comes from, but
yeah, little pale girl, she went missing from there.
Yeah, but I don't think it was necessary at all.
Did we review Maximum Overdrive, or did I do it?
You did it.
I did it. Yeah, with the fucking dodgiest accents in the planet and fucking characters. Like, oh my god, that's that is some movie.
Yeah, that's one that I still have never been able to watch all the way through. Like, I've seen most of it, I think, but it's all been in bits and pieces because for some reason I just can't sit through it.
It's the dialogue. The dialogue is fucking painful.
Yeah, it's definitely a product of massive amounts of cocaine.
Like, even the short story's all right. You can't gloss through the short story, no problem. It's like a throwaway story, but it's a dialogue with the characters just makes me go, oh my god, did you kill them already? Yeah, I think we've talked about this magical sword thing. It was like, no need. Cut all that out. The whole thing of teasing that Art could have been Sienna's father. Again,
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, we have to keep him separate from reality. Because again, in my opinion, he's leaning way more towards a tulpa. He's a product of a collective consciousness. And that makes more sense than if he was like her dad that went insane and killed himself, but came back as a clown.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, it's set up through the journal and sketchbook that all of this shit happened before her dad killed himself.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make any fucking sense that he died and came back as the clown, because the clown already existed before he died.
In fact, let's go right back to the Ninth Circle. By being a servant of the Dark Lord, was he granted powers and given demonhood? So was he working his way up the ranks, so to speak, by bringing victims to the devil, and then was granted demonhood? You could easily throw that bit in there.
Yeah.
And in fact, that would explain the change, which we're going to hit just as we wrap the whole thing up, but that would explain the change in him from being a human to this entity.
Yeah.
And there you go. Thirds are all fucking tied together. Job done. Really simply. And I'm a thick cunt. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think he's in the danger now of overthinking this. How about the return of Vicky though? That was
so last night watching it was actually the first time I saw that, because when we saw Terrifier 2 in theaters, as soon as it hit credits, we're both like, fuck this, we gotta get the hell out of here. So yeah, I didn't see it until last night. And that was
people didn't. In fact, somebody was reviewing and I commented on their channel, like, oh, did somebody miss the mid-credit scene because he's talking about, oh, how could Art possibly come back? I'm like, oh dear, somebody didn't stick with the extra 3 minutes.
Yep. I totally didn't see that.
So Art gets decapitated.
Mm-hmm.
Pale little girl grabs his head and then disappears. And then, but the thing is, we know the pale little girl because it's been mentioned. She is the little girl that went missing at Fun Fair. But then I was also thinking, is the pale little girl a projection of Vicky?
See that. I don't know. Like that kind of, I really don't know.
And then it makes you think then, because it seemed to be the way he's going. Then his fucking Sienna's father was the one projecting Art, and then you're like, is there a human behind it? And it's like, no, don't go there. Personally, I prefer the idea that these are people that have left. They might have been human once, but they've shaken their mortal coil and they've went into demonhood. Say, for example, I think that's the best descriptor. They're demons.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vicky effectively invoking Art by giving birth to his head.
Yeah, that was fucking great.
And it was just, this is where this guy, David, he excels. And these bonkers fucking side plots that just come in and just completely, you think you're going along at a comfortable pace, and he's like, no, come on over here for a minute. Have some of that. And you're like, oh shit, right, okay.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's coming next. And I love that. And like I said, I don't want him to lose that. Really don't. So, like we're saying earlier on, we'll wrap this up the last couple of bits. So, obviously, Mike Gianelli versus David Howard Thornton.
Yeah, night and day difference. Because with Mike Gianelli, he was just there. Like, he's a good actor, I'm sure, but
you know the backstory, of course.
I know I heard it, but
all right. So Mike isn't actually an actor. He's just a friend of David Leone's, and he's actually acted. He's just somebody that David would test his props on.
Oh yeah.
So would you stick that clown suit on for me, please? You don't have to say anything. Just would you do this, please? And that was it. So this guy, Mike, has actually no interest in acting whatsoever. He's just doing a favor for his friend, putting on the costume. Yeah. And then he started to bulk up where David wants Art to be skinny, which kind of makes sense. We need more fat characters.
Yeah.
I need to imagine myself as a character.
Right.
And everyone's fucking skinny, and that's not me. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
The only person I can identify with is the Violator.
I mean, that's fair.
That's it. I mean, that's the only horror character I can go, I could be that. I've got the belly. I've got the chins. I can do that. I'm a pervert. Yep.
Fuck yeah. I mean,
that's it. I've got one character out of the entire
fucking relate too.
Mike was never meant to be like a long-term actor. I think he's just doing a favor for his mate. So
yeah,
I can't ship the guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But this is back to what I'm saying about the whole, what he has done though is set it up of Art in human form. Could you actually still see the bit, the costume had pulled up where it's more form-fitting in the second one?
Yeah.
You can tell it's definitely, in Terrifier, he's got more money and budget, more thought put into it. The actual it was more sculpted. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, definitely.
You could use Mike as the human form and then David Howard playing the demon form of Art, and then nothing's lost. You don't have to pick one or the other. Because for all he was in it, I think Mike did a decent job.
Oh yeah.
It
was he did well enough to make a proper Art the Clown movie possible. So yeah, he definitely did that.
So never going to shit in the guy, and I wish him all the best. That's that simple. I hope he's still friends with David, and hope he gets involved in some way and gets some piece of the pie. That makes sense. Adam was asking me this last night before we went live, and it's an interesting question. So, for example, this character, like, there's no he was better there. It's not that great debate, but like a Hellraiser or Nightmare on Elm Street, this new character's playing them. This is terrible, or this is great. All that sort of stuff. Why is it those sort of characters people get more emotionally invested? And I thought it's because they speak. Does that bring a requirement or an extra dimension to the character that makes you lock in? So if you hear a particular voice, you get it tuned in, and then
I can definitely see it.
Because we'll use Jason, for example. Like I said, different actor played Jason, but normies don't care. It's only fans care about that. It's same as Michael Myers. You can technically stick anybody behind the mask and people aren't bothered. But the minute you have a speaking animated character, then people lock in. Right, that's what I expect it to be.
Yeah. No, I'd honestly never considered that, but that makes perfect sense.
It just made me think. It was an enough question. It was just in conversation. It wasn't even meant to be for anything, but it got me thinking, especially with this.
Yeah.
There's something
but
about...
I don't know. I think a lot like Kane Hodder's version of Jason. Even though they don't speak, there's a body language to them that sure it could be mimicked, but what extent, like how well it is, I don't know. So it's like at this point I don't know how successfully they could replace David. But yeah, I don't know. That's definitely something interesting to think about.
Yeah, because David definitely brings a physicality to this character, and like the first three, well, not the second, 2 and 3, basically, Friday the 13th. Jason's running about like a lost child in an adult body, and there's a certain, like an angry lost child sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, if you play that a certain way, you can see it, but you have to be tuned in to the character, and the character has to display that for you to notice.
Yeah.
So do people not notice as much? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to figure it out while we're on the stream. Just what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll leave that one. If you have any ideas, folks, obviously stick them in the comments. Be interesting to. It's a bit of a tricky one to try and wrap our brains out. Why do people get so locked in with a character being a certain way that no one else can play them, but yet are more forgiven? Or maybe it's because people haven't seen All Hallows Eve and The Ninth Circle, and they've only seen Terrifier and Terrifier 2. So maybe they haven't been aware of Mike.
Yeah.
Well, this could quite be, but the conversation isn't as intense as with other franchises. Interesting question. So I think we'll kind of cover this, but the gore, is it cheesy or horrifying? I think
both. And that's how it should be.
Yeah, it's taking you on a journey, and it's not letting you get into a comfort zone. And that's what I love about the series. You're not allowed to sit in your comfort zone.
Yeah,
he's gonna jangle you out of it, and I've been waiting for this for years. And final question, which I think we know the answer to, but should Art start talking?
No, absolutely fucking not. That's the thing that makes him so fucking scary, is that he doesn't talk. Even when he's in massive amounts of pain, like when he gets stabbed, it's still miming that he's screaming. And yeah,
the first Terrifier movie, like when he gets was he shot in the foot or stabbed in the foot?
He was stabbed. No. He was stabbed in this one.
No, in the first Terrifier movie.
Yeah.
He was shot, the dog, he's just like,
yeah, that shit was hilarious.
I lost my shit. I'm just like, oh, just like, fucking get you back. How dare you do this to me? Sort of all indignant. It's like, you fucking lunatic.
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, like it's just so much better character-wise that he doesn't speak, because he doesn't need to. He emotes everything. And the only time you actually get a noise out of him is with the horn. And that makes that even terrifying. Yeah, exactly. Like, even if you're not scared of clowns, like, that's terrifying.
Oh shit, I'll just throw it away. Whoops, I got caught my lead. Even at the end of Terrifier 2, they built the horn into the theme tune, and that is fucking clever.
Yeah, it's genius. Like, that's great. But I feel like we do need to talk about this first question, because we just completely glossed over it. But the whole Art using guns and vehicles.
Good point,
personally,
yes.
I'm all for it, because the thing is, we have seen slashers use weapons before like that. Like Jason's fucking killed people with harpoon guns. Like, it's still a gun. But the thing is, like, when Art uses a gun, he doesn't use a gun like a normal person. Like towards the end of the first film, when he pulls out a gun and starts shooting that one person, just all joy comes off of his face, and he's like, well, I guess this is what I'm gonna do. So it's, he pops her, and it's like, okay, well, I guess that's it. That didn't feel quite right. And then he just keeps unloading, and then he goes and grabs another clip, and he goes back to shoot her some more. Like,
and he rustles in the bag, because he just but even in All Hallows Eve, he uses a gun as well in the car, and he only uses it to shoot the driver.
And then in the second one, like, that little sawed-off shotgun, like, that was great.
Oh yes,
fucking mom's cleaning up the window, pop, like,
and he's been sitting there waiting.
Yeah,
like, he would have waited there for days just to pull off the gag, because that's the way it's a joke.
Yeah,
so he's been sitting in the car waiting for her to fucking do it, just patiently.
Yeah, see, and I feel like that's why it works for him. Like, I can understand, like, if Jason was using like a fucking assault rifle, that would be weird, that would be overkill, and it wouldn't quite fit. But with Art, everything is a fucking joke, and if you can spin it in a way that would make sense, that somebody insane would find it funny, like, it works.
Yeah, because Tara, when he knocks Tara over before, no, it was Vicky, sorry, no, it was Tara. He runs Tara over with a truck, and he even had time to switch the radio off on the whatever he wants to play, and he's just like,
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, it just adds to the madness of the character. The fact that you could get away from him because he wants to run the gag. So if he got away, it doesn't matter because if the gag doesn't work, he doesn't want to do it. Yeah, it doesn't take away, and it does it once again. It's taking you out of your comfort zone. The way Leone does it, it's you're not sitting here we're not going through the paint by numbers here. That's it seems to be his stick. He doesn't want these movies to be paint by numbers. But back to the concerns, he's overthinking now. It's like, yep, you've got it. Just calm down, do what you do. Don't try and overthink us. Don't try and look for the shiny lights.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I see that issue with a lot of things. Like, I mean, mostly it's like television and stuff. But if you don't have somebody telling you, hey, you should take some time off of this or edit out some things that are precious to you, like it drags and it becomes like not a fun experience. And that's ultimately that's what Damien Leone needs, is somebody to just rein him in just a tiny bit. I know we've said it before, but I'll say it again. Like that's ultimately what's going to make Terrifier 3 the perfect film, is having somebody to help edit Damien's idea versus just putting together a bunch of shit and throwing out a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah,
that doesn't need to be that long. Now, if there's enough stories and it's necessary that it's not long, again, I'm fucking cool with that. Like, I have no problem sitting down watching a 3-hour movie, but it needs to be that long for a reason. It can't just be like, oh, well, I just had a bunch of shit, so I just threw it in there.
Yeah, but he's already shown he's clever with material, like with All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
So he incorporates it into the other one, and that's what I'm saying. This stuff could be made into other promo segments. Who needs to waste time in adverts? He just makes it and then just puts it out there, and fucking the art will live forever.
Yeah.
The Clown Cafe could easily just come out of the movie and go into little internet segments. That's it. Who needs to advertise? Who needs to get a distributor? You just put that stuff out there on its own, not related to the movie. Job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's hoping, eh?
Right. I really can't wait to see what comes out next, because I think Damien Leone's a fucking genius. He's a brilliant artist, like both with his directing, his writing, and his makeup. Like, I cannot wait to see the next one.
Do you think he should work on something else between now and Terrifier 3? Cleanse the palate, step away?
I don't know.
His
Like,
own?
a lot of people do stuff like that, even if it's just like a short film or something. With him, the magic is that's what he fixates on is the Terrifier. Like, because the first one took a few years to make as well. I want to say it was like 3 or 4. The second one, same thing. Like, he worked on it for the past 4 years before it was released. So, trying to keep everything practical and trying to get out in a reasonable amount of time, I can understand if he just went straight out of Terrifier 2 into Terrifier 3.
Yeah, because he's in the zone, so to speak. Well, there you go. That was about as in depth as it was going to be. Like, you can't just cover an entire franchise in like a few minutes. But,
right.
I think without over laboring the point, I think we covered it pretty well there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's a character that I want to see more of. Absolutely, see more of.
Yeah, nobody think that we want this to fail. There's a lot of love here. Hence the concern, because we don't want this to fail. We want this to soar to new heights.
That was the hard part with watching Terrifier 2 the first time, was I went in like, everybody that doesn't like this, they're fucking wrong. This guy is amazing. Like, this is going to be great. And then the whole time I'm like forcing myself to like it. It's like, I shouldn't have to force myself to like this.
But then that's the reaction. That's this toxic environment, which we've talked about on social media, that's being created. It's ruining art because automatically you feel you have to be in a camp on a side and you can't dare you relent, because then the other side will just dogpile on you.
Right.
And that's unfortunately a stupid shit that we need to step away from. You're allowed you can love something and still be critical of elements. You want the thing to succeed. You don't want it to fall down the rabbit hole of other shit that you don't watch because it's shit. Because it does the things that you don't like. You're allowed to do that, but then instantly the other side are like, of whatever fucking debate it might be. Say, you give in, you relented. No, we're right. And you're like, fuck off. And I think it's important to keep that shit out of your head and step away from that. It's a weird franchise in terms of public reaction. Yeah, I get it's not a normie one, but the people that hate it,
it's like you just don't get it if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can understand.
If you don't like slasher movies at all, I get not liking it. If you don't like horror at all, I get not liking it.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you're a fan of slasher movies and you hate this, like, what the hell?
Yeah, are you just being fucking grumpy because, oh, well, it's nothing like Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Like, it's like, of course it's not. It wasn't supposed to be. Yeah.
Oh, something new. And then people get in this fucking loop of the same rut. They just want the same stuff. And they're the loudest ones. I think that's the problem. They're not in numbers, but they're loud.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the downside to social media and shit. Is it's the people that are the minority are the loudest. So that's what you hear, and it's fucking annoying.
That's true. But there you go. That's our review. We covered the entire franchise. I'm looking forward to doing the next one when it comes out or anything else.
Absolutely.
Obviously, keeping an eye on David and see what he's up to. I want to get into the Hatchet series, but I'm worried that the DVD or the Blu-rays are the fucking sanitized ones.
No. So here's what you do, and
so I'm looking on Amazon, and I'm like,
no. Don't go on Amazon.
All right.
Honestly,
right.
the cheapest way to get it is from the fucking director, because you can get it all 4 movies, all Blu-rays, and they're Blu-rays, so they're region free. At least they should be. And they're all like, not only are you spending less and you're getting the full versions, they come signed.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's like if you go through his website, arioscope.com, fucking, I'm gonna look it up, because I had to, like, I was preaching to one of my buddies over it, because he's like, oh, I just feel like there's nothing new out that's any good, and it's like, dude, you gotta see Hatchet.
Yeah,
and
but then you warned me about it being sanitized, so I'm like, oh, okay, right.
Yeah,
I don't want to get the wrong one.
It is streaming, so streaming it's sanitized. Like anytime you see Hatchet on like Amazon or anything like that, don't watch it because it is edited. So yeah, if you get the full Hatchet the Blu-ray series, that's all 4 movies, again autographed. They are not region free, they're region 1.
That's okay.
But yeah, that's safe for you, because that's
get a region free of a region free player. So
well, you're region 1 though, right?
No, we're region 2.
Are you at that region 2?
No, you're region 1.
Weird. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, realistically, a fucking any horror fan that actually collects physical media should have a region free player. Let's just be real.
Unboxing video coming soon, people.
Right. But yeah, so $75, all 4 signed by the director. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
DM me that link, buddy, and then we'll get that. Right. Yes, Chris, expectations. Going into a movie and being in a bad mood that day can affect how you enjoy the movie.
That will fucking ruin shit, yeah.
Being hungry going into a movie can affect how you watch it. When I went in to see the 2017 version of It, I went to Broovies and the sound was shit.
Oof. Yeah, it
was very tinny, and when even Andy Skarsgård was talking, I thought he didn't sound good at all, because just the cinema was shit with the sound. And then when I watched it on Blu-ray, like, holy shit, that's a completely different experience. Or when I watched it on whenever it came in streaming, I watched it again. It's like, oh, that's completely different.
Yeah, there's so many factors involved that can fuck it up. And
but
especially if you're a Utah native, Broovies is never a good way to see a movie.
It's still a fun place to go though.
Like, the food was good.
Their chicken's nice.
Yeah, like
their little chicken basket to do.
The one that used to be by my house, like, it's not around anymore. But yeah, I absolutely loved going there just for the food. The movie quality and sound quality wasn't the greatest, but yeah, the food was always fantastic.
Yeah, but it's good to go and see maybe an old movie. You're not visible for the experience. If you want to go for a movie experience, it's not the place.
Yeah,
and I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 factors. That's why it's important not to knee-jerk react.
Well, that's also why it's so important to watch something more than once. Like, I stand by that. Like, even if I don't like something, I'm gonna watch it at least twice just to see if maybe I was just in a shitty space that day.
Yeah, and we've done that loads of times.
Oh yeah,
we've both either liked or disliked the movie, and then we've talked to each other, and then we've went back for a second viewing of it, and we've both on occasions have changed our minds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that wasn't a you win I lose sort of thing. It was just okay, this is why I liked it. And see, doing this has actually changed my movie watching experience, and I think for the better, because now I have to formulate my thoughts and explain why I like something, or more importantly, why I don't like something. Not just I have to think about what I'm actually watching and why I'm getting the emotional reaction that I do, and that's not a bad thing.
No, well, and that's why this shit should be such a communal experience. Like, movies, and I hate to sound like the fucking old guy back in my day, blah blah, but it was a wholly communal experience. We didn't have streaming, so it's like you went to theaters or you rented something from Blockbuster. And the thing is, when you rented a movie, it was not necessarily cheap, so you got as much out of it as you could. You got the movie, you got friends over, you watched it at least 3 or 4 times. times in the
Yep.
weekend before he had to return it. Like, it was a group thing, and you guys could discuss immediately after, and that's how you decipher what you saw and like put together what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. So I feel like that's something we're really missing in, you know, the modern culture is, you know, we go home, we put it on Netflix or whatever streaming service, blow through something, and then that's the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just not appreciating shit like it should be.
Like, how many times have you asked me about movies and I'm like, huh? And then I realize I have actually watched it and I'm like, just completely forgotten.
Yeah, and I've fallen prey to that shit too. Like, it's so disappointing because it's like, it's just like if you were to read a book and by the time you're done with it, you don't remember a single thing you read. Like, you just wasted all that time and effort on something that should have been appreciated, and you just existed through it.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. The first time I read Lord of the Rings,
I
And in
can
fact-
understand that with Tolkien. Like,
yeah, there's a
Tolkien's
thing that
work
got
is
me
difficult.
when I went into secondary school, high school. Teacher asked me because I just finished it over the holidays, and he asked me the trick question: "What color was Gandalf?" And because the last chapter he had one of the rings at the end, you know, it was a blue with sapphire. That's my answer, and I'm still kicking myself to this day. That was a trick question, obviously.
Mhm.
And my stupid kid brain hyper-focused in one little area and missed the whole point, even from The Hobbit, of Gandalf the Grey becoming Gandalf the White. It was like completely spaced that whole thing, and I still kicked myself to my day. I was only fucking 11, you know what I mean? But still, it haunts me to this day that I was that stupid.
Yeah, it's always that shit that you'll remember until your dying day, even when
Yeah.
everything else is out of your brain.
That's it. But yeah, this is not a taking time to watch a movie, watch it the second time, and not reacting to the mob, either for or against. That's why I like to do my reactions live.
Mhm.
And when I do the reviews, and hopefully when you get your stuff and you start jumping on as well, that initial reactions, if you've just come out of the theater or you've just finished watching it, is cool because that could change a week later.
Mhm. Yeah,
But it's good
absolutely.
to get that initial, not overthinking it, just, okay, I watched it, this is how it made me feel. He was wearing, at the end, when they're, you know, when they're leaving Middle Earth on the boat, he was
Yeah.
wearing a ring, and they described all the rings the Gladriel and all had, and he had a blue,
Mhm.
was it white diamond, blue sapphire ring,
Mhm.
and that's the bit I focused on,
Yeah.
despite having read The Hobbit beforehand, and I just, you know, just got caught out. Like I said, I still kicked myself, and I was 11. Fuck. Yeah, there you go. Now you know a bit about me. That maybe I shouldn't have let out there, but so be it. Right. So I think we'll wrap up here, folks, because we've been at this for over 2 hours. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I think it's
Back
about
to the old days. Remember we used to
time.
3 hour
Right.
streams, cover about 9 movies in the fucking. Oh, that was a brutal. We punished ourselves when we first started this.
Right. I don't even know how the fuck I had time for all that shit.
Neither do I, because I'm getting tired, like watching 1 or 2 movies. Like,
Right.
what the hell, man? And as usual, keep up to date with the channel, do the typey clicky things, and until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.